been a while since I've been as excited about an initiative that we are about to launch. I don't know if you remember Richie. He came, I guess, to the first PTSA meeting, and he talked about an idea that he had with a nonprofit organization that he's a part of. And the idea is when your child comes home and you say, "How was school today?" Good chicken nuggets. I mean, if you get that out of them, that's very, very, very well done, parents. But that's, I mean, I've got 2 kids that finished school, and that's about what I got out of them on a day-to-day basis. So we know there's a very, very, very strong need to increase the communication around the dinner table. And not only would it really be neat if it was around the dinner table, but what if there was a connection and the school knew what was being talked about at the dinner table so that they could reinforce it? And what if you knew what the school kind of was doing during that month so that you could talk about those events at the dinner table? Be pretty neat, wouldn't it? So that was kind of the concept that we started with, and Richie worked us to death. We literally have been meeting every single Tuesday night, right, ladies? So I'm going to ask the Schoolhouse to Your House committee to stand up, because we've worked every Tuesday night since the beginning of the year on this. Stand up, ladies, that were a part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, right. And I'm going to introduce Richie now, because he's going to talk to you about what it is, and I hope you will see it as an exciting event as I do. I think this is going to gain international acceptance. We are the pilot for the entire United States, state of Florida, United States, but I believe this will carry. It's good. It's so good that I believe this will become a major staple in most households across the United States. See if you think so. And we're going to pilot it shortly after FCAT.
I'm a pretty enthusiastic person, but following Mr. Adler is tough. Oh, do the mic? Okay. Okay. Nope.
As I attempted to say, I'm a pretty exciting, energetic person, but following Mr. Adler was near to impossible so many times. We met, when was the first PTSA meeting? September, was it?
Yeah, September.
And I shared with the group here a concept that we are building and giving to Dade County public school system called Schoolhouse to Your House. And when I say giving the program, the folks that I'm involved with, my company, Think Factory, and in Orlando with Kimball Companies, we believe that it all begins and ends with the family. Accountability begins and ends, and responsibility begins and ends with the family. So we also feel that part of being an innovator and being part of the solution, we all know that funding is tough. We all know that budgets are getting cut left and right. So we actually feel that business is responsible to step up to the plate and put their money where their mouth is. So what we did was we had a concept that we developed called Schoolhouse to Your House. And it was based upon the fact that parents do want to be able to talk to their kids about the school day when they get home. But believe it or not, even really good parents, many parents that are here, may not know exactly how to get that conversation started. So I mentioned this in September, the concept, and afterwards, at the end of the meeting, I met with probably 30 parents that stayed for over an hour and a half, just chatting about this concept. And we opened up the Schoolhouse to Your House Founders Committee, if you will, to anyone that wanted to come in and start to build this program. So to give you an idea, it's based upon a table placement. a simple table placemat that is used to facilitate and to get conversation moving. You literally put it in the middle of the table, you sit around, and there's all of these interaction cues on this placemat. But we didn't have a placemat, so we had to build one. So literally, every week for, I guess what, since the second, so for 52 weeks, not for 52 weeks, but we built out 52 weeks of content. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. But we literally went through every week of the year and came up with character traits and cues that would allow teachers to facilitate conversation in class and then have it taken home. And I can't tell you, I mean, it was an amazing, amazing amount of work. Amazing. And the parents that were recognized, 25, 30 times over, like incredible thanks. And I was so humbled by this process. You know, with all the years that I've worked with clients, I've never enjoyed it as much as I have working with the parents and this school. And, you know, Mr. Adler has just been an incredible, incredible leader, and his passion that he brought to the school. But just a couple of teachers who stood up, you know, quickly, I really want to give kudos to 10 times over. Heather Torres was here. Amazing work, always there to analyze everything, to give some amazing feedback, just great stuff. Kirsten Shipley, who is not here, who was with us every week. Michelle Bevilacqua, who was here, and also absolutely gets an award for being the one in charge of penmanship, because she wrote on all the boards, I mean, nonstop. And Miriam Torres Gatherer was part of the group as well. It's somewhat hard to visualize what we did. So tonight, go to YouTube and look up Building Schoolhouse Session 7. Because what we've been doing is videotaping every session from the beginning. And part of the reason why we're doing it, besides posterity, is the fact that Discovery Channel has been very interested in this process. And as Mr. Adler said, this was ground zero. It's starting at this school. We were already talking to the New York City school system about this. Mr. Adler was on a phone call with that group as well. The support for this program has been from the superintendent to Dr. Feldman, who's been amazing in this process, Enid Weissman. Everybody's been on board, but it really came down to the parents and the teachers and Mr. Adler, who met every single week to build this out. So, what I would like to show you now is what we built. And I'll put the mic down. Okay, here's the placemat. We have a word, endurance. Endurance is one of the words that we're featuring during the year. So, we have the definition of endurance, and what happens is this is handed out to the kids at school. All the kids are going to get binders. That all these will be 3-hole punch. Teachers will discuss the word endurance for 5 to 10 minutes with the class. Kids take this home, and then it's just sky's the limit and the imagination as far as you can take it in terms of sitting around the table with this placemat and having discussion about the school day, and about the word endurance. So and I'll have some up here so you can check them out afterwards. But for instance, one panel, we talk about what endurance is. Then we go to another panel, and it has what we call conversation starters. And there are 10 different questions, gradated by age, based upon endurance. Then of course we have advertising, because sponsors are going to underwrite the entire program nationally. But what's interesting with the advertisers as well is that part of their advertising will be based upon the word. So Gatorade, for instance, has a program called Will to Win. So it's a perfect tie-in for